Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Links are in the description below. Please show some love of the author and me. On to the show.
Su Yan steered the Hyperion and flew towards the distance. Those people of the Shura tribe didn't know where to hide, which made Su Yan feel a little troublesome. Since those people didn't want to come out to die, he didn't bother to take care of them. Su Yan controls the Hyperion to fly, moving rapidly in the universe. He is looking for some planets. Maybe he can find people from the Shura tribe and kill them. In this way, it also saves him a lot of effort. The Hyperion has been flying for thousands of kilometers, but there is no trace of the Shura tribe, which makes Su Yan feel a little puzzled. After he manipulated the Hyperion, he flew in space for a while. He stopped suddenly, and a huge meteorite belt appeared in front of him. The surrounding area of the meteorite belt is full of meteorites, and energy is contained in the meteorites. Under the energy package, it kept rolling, releasing powerful energy, as if it would explode at any time. Around the meteorite belt, there are still a large number of broken rocks, and some meteorites even have a large number of cracks on the surface. This meteorite belt, as if it was hit by a meteorite from the sky, became what it is now. Is it a meteorite falling into the galaxy? Su Yan frowned. There shouldn't be any meteorites in the Shura clan, and there are not so many meteorite groups in the star field of the Shura clan. The meteorite belt is an area of meteorites, in which there are a large number of meteorites. There are many meteorites in the meteorite belt, and some meteorites have traces of flame burning on them. Su Yan maneuvered the Hyperion to fly close to the meteorite belt. Only then did they discover that these meteorites were all made of meteorite, which was extremely hard. Su Yan's heart skipped a beat, and he steered the Hyperion, approaching the meteorite belt. He wanted to see clearly what was going on. This meteorite belt didn't seem to be in any danger. Su Yan manipulated the Hyperion and slowly approached the meteorite belt. When he was only about 100 meters away from the meteorite belt, suddenly, 10 deafening explosions rang out. Immediately afterwards, Su Yan saw a huge shock wave sweeping towards him. Su Yan was slightly startled and quickly controlled the Hyperion to evade boom. Su Yan manipulated the Hyperion to dodge, and the dodging speed was very fast, avoiding the impact of that shock wave. However, those meteorites were inevitably hit a few times. Most of this meteorite belt was destroyed, and it kept flying towards the outside. The energy here is so strong. Seeing those meteorites, Su Yan couldn't help but exclaim. Su Yan flew the Hyperion through this area and headed for other places. After flying around a few times, Su Yan finally confirmed that there were no traces of Shura people around the meteorite belt. It seems that there are no Shura people in this area. Su Yan breathed a sigh of relief and thought to himself. He controlled the Hyperion and flew away, continuing to fly in this galaxy. The area that Su Yan flew over was also mostly destroyed by the destructive energy, and all those meteorites were also destroyed, turned into dust, blown away, and disappeared between the sky and the earth. Su Yan steered the Hyperion to fly, and continued to fly further away. Along the way, he encountered many galaxies and many stars, but Su Yan did not meet any Shura people, nor did he see any traces of them. The Shura clansmen should have hidden themselves. If the Shura people hide, it will be difficult for Su Yan to find them. This star field is too vast. Even though Su Yan piloted the Hyperion and flew in the galaxy for 2 full years, he still didn't find any trace of the Shura clan, and he didn't know where the Shura clan was hiding. He is confident that he can get rid of the Shura clan. As long as the Shura clan comes out, they will definitely not be able to escape the fate of being killed. The Hyperion continued to fly. In this interstellar space, it was already very difficult to meet any Shura people. Su Yan's mood became much more relaxed. Boom. Suddenly, there was a loud noise from the front, and a ball of flame rose up instantly, sweeping towards the surroundings. The power of this flame was so strong that it melted the nearby galaxies. The moment the flame rose, a planet was completely evaporated and disappeared into the universe. This is a small galaxy, and Su Yan saw a battleship shuttle out from that place. During the shuttle, the people on those battleships were desperately resisting the flame. That battleship turned out to be an interstellar mothership. Okay, seeing this interstellar mothership, Su Yan's face suddenly became a little strange. The size of this interstellar mothership is larger than any warship Su Yan has encountered before, and it is also very advanced, with countless weapons attacking those flames. Boom. Under the attack of the interstellar mothership, those meteorites continued to collapse, and finally all disappeared. Boom. Under the attack of the interstellar mothership, a hole was punched out in that interstellar mothership, and then a figure drilled out from the interstellar mothership. It was that Shura clansman. Damn it, you actually found our tracks. That Shura clansman was extremely angry, staring at the front, his eyes filled with violence. He looked at Su Yan and said coldly, "Boy, how dare you break into the territory of our Shura clan?" I just happened to meet you guys. Su Yan smiled and said lightly. The Shura tribe snorted coldly and said, no matter what today, you don't want to leave here alive. After finishing speaking, he manipulated the interstellar mothership and slammed towards Su Yan. Call out. Su Yan manipulated the Hyperion to evade, and at the same time manipulated the Hyperion to fly to the starship. The Asura clansman sneered and said, overthinking one's abilities. After finishing speaking, the starship slammed into Su Yan fiercely. Meteorites flew by continuously, and one after another was smashed by the impact. The Hyperion is flying very fast, and the starship is not slow. The speeds of the two warships were not much different. Inside the starship, the Shura tribe kept staring at Su Yan with mocking eyes. He knew that he had locked Su Yan's location. He manipulated the starship, and while flying, one after another ion cannon shot towards Su Yan. Boom! Under the control of Su Yan, the Hyperion quickly avoided the ion cannon. The ion cannon shot at the interstellar mothership, producing a fierce roar, and the interstellar mothership was trembling non-stop. Boom! Those ion cannons fired on the Hyperion, and the Hyperion was not to be outdone, and also counterattacked, and the two battleships kept fighting. The ion cannons of the Shura people have a long range and strong power, constantly attacking the Hyperion. Although the Hyperion is protected by a defensive cover, it is also under considerable pressure. During the battle, Su Yan manipulated the Hyperion, dodging constantly. The ion cannons of the Shura clan were constantly bombarding the Hyperion, making the Hyperion tremble. Although the defensive cover of the Hyperion is powerful, it can only withstand the ion cannons of the general Shura clan. There is more than one Shura tribe, and their ion cannons have more than 770, and the combat power of the Shura people is not weak. The Hyperion's primary role is combat, not defense. Therefore, if the Shura clan's ion cannons are too dense, the Hyperion will not be able to withstand it. Su Yan controls the Hyperion to dodge continuously, while the starship keeps bombarding the Hyperion. Although the Hyperion has the ability to defend, such intensive attacks still cause the Hyperion to suffer a lot of damage. After a while, the main equipment of the Hyperion was damaged. Su Yan looked at the equipment part of the Hyperion, frowning. If the main equipment of the Hyperion is damaged, then the Hyperion may be really dangerous. Su Yan wanted to control the Hyperion and kill all those ion cannons, but those ion cannons were too dense, and it was impossible to clear them all. Boom! Interstellar motherships frantically bombarded towards the Hyperion. The defensive hood of the Hyperion was constantly flashing light, constantly enduring those attacks. Seeing that the Hyperion was still able to hold on, the Shura people were also surprised. Starships are no ordinary warships. This interstellar mothership was developed by the Shura tribe, and it has a very strong defense capability. In the interstellar mothership, there is an interstellar turret that can continuously fire ion cannons. They are going to use the ion cannon to deal with Su Yan, so that Su Yan can't dodge. Su Yan manipulated the Hyperion, avoiding the attack of the ion cannon, flying continuously, avoiding the ion cannon of the Shura tribe. Beside him, there are two interstellar motherships, constantly following his flight path, firing ion cannons towards him. Although the Hyperion was powerful, it couldn't fully withstand so many attacks, and soon after, it began to become embarrassing. Under the attack of the Shura tribe, the Hyperion was already injured. Although it was not damaged, there were some damages. At such a high distance, it is not easy to fly out of this space. As a result, the speed of the Hyperion was much slower. Boom! The starship's attack continued, continuously shooting towards the Hyperion. On the Hyperion, Su Yan was manipulating the Hyperion, while avoiding those attacks, while flying continuously. He is constantly thinking about countermeasures. The speed of the starship is very fast, and he has no way to fly. The Hyperion can't avoid the attack of the starship at all, which makes the Hyperion very dangerous. The main defense system of the Hyperion has been severely damaged. If this continues, the Hyperion will soon be overtaken by the starship, and by then, the Hyperion will be completely destroyed. No, the Hyperion must not be destroyed. Su Yan gritted his teeth secretly in his heart, while manipulating the Hyperion. He kept avoiding the attacks of those ion cannons. There is still a lot of energy left on the Hyperion, and he wants to try to see if he can use up all the energy in a short period of time. Ready to launch, Su Yan immediately made a decision. The energy tank on the Hyperion was already full, and he wanted to try to consume all the energy. Immediately, he released hundreds of fighter planes from the Hyperion, and flew towards the starship. These fighters are Su Yan's biggest hole card. He must use these fighters to delay the starship. Boom! Hundreds of fighter planes exploded outside the interstellar mothership. The battle continues. The starships are also flying fast. They are constantly attacking the Hyperion area. Su Yan watched as the Hyperion's energy bar was decreasing at a speed visible to the naked eye. While the starship was still attacking the Hyperion, the energy tank of the Hyperion is already less than 500,000 units of energy, and the energy of the starship is also very abundant. Su Yan looked at the energy tank on the Hyperion and sighed inwardly. His face also became very solemn. On the interstellar mothership, the Shura people are also constantly controlling the interstellar mothership to fire ion cannons. A series of ion cannons hit the Hyperion, and immediately a cloud of white smoke rose from the Hyperion. The energy tank of the Hyperion is also rapidly depleting, and Su Yan is becoming more and more surprised by the increasing energy consumption. Su Yan felt something was wrong. If the energy supply of the Hyperion fails, then the energy of the Hyperion cannot be maintained, and at that time, the Hyperion will completely explode. Su Yan felt helpless that so many Shura clansmen on the starship had not left yet. The current state is not suitable for a head-to-head confrontation with the starship. The only thing he can do now is to get rid of those Shura people as soon as possible so that he can continue to escape. The energy of the Hyperion is running out. We must find a way to deal with these Shura people as soon as possible in 4.7, and then leave here. Su Yan thought to himself, the Hyperion is my only hope, and I cannot let it be destroyed like this. If the Hyperion can be recovered, then the Hyperion will have a huge improvement, and by then, the starship will no longer be able to catch up with the Hyperion. No, I absolutely can't sit still. I must find a way to get out of this ghostly place. Su Yan kept thinking in his heart, thinking of countermeasures, but he couldn't do anything. What should I do? There were a lot of thoughts in his mind, but he couldn't think of any good way for a while. No, I can no longer hesitate. I must leave here as soon as possible. After thinking about it, an idea suddenly appeared in his mind. Since the ion cannon on the starship can penetrate the energy shield of the Hyperion, why can't I use the star cannon? Su Yan's eyes lit up, thinking of a possibility. The attack power of the ion cannon on the interstellar mothership is very powerful, and the energy shield on the Hyperion must not be able to resist the ion cannon on the interstellar mothership. But the Xingyuan cannon can. He can use the Xingyuan cannon's attack to destroy the starship. Okay, just do it. Su Yan immediately made a decision, and then he turned on the switch of the star source cannon. Boom! There was a violent roar, and a beam of light shot out from the barrel of the Xingyuan cannon and went straight to the starship on the starship. This beam of light instantly hit the starship on the starship. In a burst of dazzling light, the hull of the interstellar mothership was shattered, and a huge gap appeared on the entire hull. Boom! This time, the beam of light did not hit the Hyperion, but instead hit the starship's tail. As a result, the tail of the starship was also greatly traumatized. Many cracks appeared in the energy shield, and the energy also became disordered. When many cracks appeared in the 23 energy shield of the starship, Su Yan immediately jumped out of the Hyperion and flew towards the distance, towards the planet. Although the energy shield of the interstellar mothership is constructed of interstellar warship materials, it is not as powerful as imagined. The energy tank on the Hyperion can penetrate the shield of the starship, which shows that the shield of the starship is not too strong. The energy on the Hyperion can easily destroy the energy shield of the interstellar mothership just by increasing its power a little. The reason why this happened to the Hyperion was because the ion cannons on the interstellar carrier were too dense, causing the energy tank of the Hyperion to be unable to load. The energy of the Hyperion is also rapidly weakening, which is why the energy supply of the Hyperion cannot be supplied, and it cannot exert its real combat effectiveness. When Su Yan was flying to that planet, he kept paying attention to the starship behind him, and saw that on the starship, there were a series of starships, which were crazily firing towards his position. All the energy on these interstellar warships was directed at the Hyperion. On the interstellar battleship, there are countless ion cannons, bombarding the Hyperion crazily, one energy bomb after another, forming a rain of energy one after another in the air, and smashing towards the Hyperion. Boom! One after another, energy bombs landed on the Hyperion, and layers of energy ripples suddenly appeared on the surface of the Hyperion, and countless fine cracks appeared on the energy cover. On the Hyperion, the crew members panicked, yelling one by one, dodging those energy bombs one after another, for fear of being hit by those energy bombs. Although the energy shield of the Hyperion can resist the attack of the starship, it cannot resist the attack of so many energy bombs. Under the attack of those energy bombs, the Nexing shield finally began to be damaged. Waves of energy surged out from the Hyperion, overturning the interstellar motherships one after another, and then turned into streamers of light in the air and dissipated in the air. Boom! The energy shield on the interstellar mothership finally couldn't support it, and was crushed by those energy bombs, and pieces of debris fell from the interstellar mothership. The crew members on the interstellar mothership jumped into the universe one after another, fleeing quickly in the universe. They dare not stay on this planet. Once they stay on this planet, they may be attacked by the interstellar mothership at any time, and it will be miserable at that time, and they may all die here. On the Hyperion, the crew members escaped from the starship one after another, and then flew towards the distance. The interstellar warriors on the interstellar mothership also drove their battleships to follow. The space fighters also approached the Hyperion one after another, and they wanted to stop the Hyperion. However, Su Yan has already made preparations. Once the space fighters on the starship mothership approach the Hyperion, he immediately activated the star source cannon, and then released waves of powerful energy, sweeping towards the starship. The energy shield on the Hyperion became completely dilapidated after being pierced by the energy bullets, unable to carry too much energy at all. Therefore, as soon as the spaceships of those space warriors approached the Hyperion, they were immediately attacked by Su Yan frantically. After a round of shelling, the interstellar soldiers on the interstellar warship suffered heavy casualties. The energy cannons of these interstellar warriors are all assembled from ion cannons, which are full of energy, but the energy of Su Yan's star source cannon is relatively thin. Therefore, after this round of attacks, these space fighters were killed one after another. As soon as the starship's energy cannon stopped attacking, it would immediately be attacked by the energy beam of the Hyperion, and cracks began to appear on the energy shield. Once the energy shield cracked, it was equivalent to the collapse of the energy shield. The interstellar fighters on the interstellar mothership rushed towards the Hyperion, hoping to kill Su Yan 310. However, in this environment, these people can only do nothing. Fire! Su Yan shouted. While controlling the Hyperion, he released energy cannons one after another, constantly bombarding the space fighters, who rushed forward. Boom! Groups of energy explosions exploded in the air. On the interstellar mothership, countless interstellar soldiers fell into a pool of blood and were hit by Su Yan's energy cannon. The fighters on the interstellar mothership, when they are on the interstellar mothership, can still display certain combat effectiveness. While the space fighters on the Hyperion fell one after another, the fighters on the starship also began to fight back frantically. They released their weapons one after another, and began to attack Hyperion one after another. The shells were fired from the energy cannon of the starship, and shot towards the Hyperion. The cannonballs drew graceful curves in the midair, forming one energy bomb after another in the air, whizzing towards the Hyperion with a sharp sound of breaking the wind. On the energy shield of the Hyperion, another energy shield was released, and the cracks on the energy shield became bigger and bigger. The Hyperion's energy shield is incredibly tough. Under Su Yan's energy cannon attack, it was still unable to resist, and was blasted by Su Yan in just a few seconds. At the moment when the energy shield was blasted, energy bombs were fired from the Hyperion towards the soldiers on the starship. A series of energy bombs drew beautiful arcs in the air. In the middle of the journey, it exploded, and the explosion produced huge energy, blowing up all the surrounding battleships. The impact of the explosion was so great that the people on the battleship were slightly affected. Some were even stunned by the shock wave. The Hyperion's muzzle began to spew out energy, continuously firing beams of energy beams, attacking the space fighters on the starship. On the hull of the Hyperion, a large number of shells were fired, attacking the space fighters. On the hull of the Hyperion, there are also a large number of energy shields protecting the Hyperion. The interior of the Hyperion is guarded by countless space fighters under the control of Su Yan. These space fighters are also constantly sending energy towards the Hyperion, making the energy shield of the Hyperion more stable and stronger. It will not be easily breached. Su Yan controls the Hyperion and flies towards the starship. He wants to use the Hyperion to hit the starship, knock the starship into the air, and kill all the soldiers on the starship. Kill the space warriors. Seeing the Hyperion galloping down from the top of the Hyperion with a terrifying aura, all showed expressions of fear. The Hyperion was extremely fast, and soon flew over the interstellar mothership, and then ruthlessly crashed into the interstellar mothership. Boom! A violent impact sounded, and the entire interstellar mothership began to shake violently. On the deck of the interstellar mothership, many interstellar warriors were knocked aside by this huge force. On the top of the starship, it was hit by Su Yan's energy cannon, and there were some big holes on the entire hull of the starship, and countless shells exploded on the starship. Su Yan was on the Hyperion, observing the situation in front of him through the scope of the Hyperion. In front of his eyes was a messy scene. Above the interstellar mothership, One interstellar warship has been turned into ruins, while another interstellar warship is running away quickly, as if afraid of being overtaken by the Hyperion. The Hyperion was extremely fast, and quickly caught up with the starship, and then stopped in front of the starship. The Hyperion's muzzle aimed at the interstellar warship, and then began to bombard it continuously. The energy cannons on the Hyperion were all built by Su Yan himself, so they are very powerful, and can destroy the energy shield of the starship with one shot. As soon as the cannonball went down, many space fighters were directly killed, or bombed into debris rumbling. The energy cannon on the Hyperion constantly bombarded the interstellar battleship. There are many energy bombs on the Hyperion, and they are flying towards the starship. Energy bombs one after another continuously left energy holes one after another on the surface of the interstellar warship. Some shells fell into the starship, detonating many energy shields. On the energy shield, there was a surge, making the crack that used some energy shield even bigger. Soon, those energy shields completely collapsed. Seeing this, the people on the starship warship all raised their hearts to their throats. The strength of the Hyperion was very clear to everyone present. A Hyperion can deal with a starfield warship, but now, Su Yan is manipulating the Hyperion to deal with a starfield warship like them. This is simply unbelievable. The Hyperion is awesome. It's just too powerful. The person on the Hyperion is like a monster. I don't know what race he is, but he can control such a battleship. He must have powerful and unparalleled abilities. The humans on this battleship are really powerful. The humans in this battleship must have extraordinary backgrounds. The power of the Hyperion shocked the space warriors, so much that they couldn't help but marvel. Hyperion, continue to fly forward. I want to show those people, you are amazing. Su Yan sneered, and then controlled the Hyperion to continue to rush forward. Some space fighters took out energy stones one after another and continued to supply the Hyperion for consumption. At the turret of the Hyperion, Su Yan entered the energy tank again, and then began to bombard the starship, trying to completely destroy the starship. In front of the Hyperion, there are more than 100 interstellar warships waiting. There is an energy tank in front of the starships, and Su Yan controls the Hyperion, and starts to bombard one of the starships violently. The starship is not weak either. It also has an energy tank in front of it, so the turret of the Hyperion does not do much damage to the starship. It can withstand the power of the Hyperion's gunfire, but it can't withstand the Hyperion's artillery bombardment, so it is quickly defeated. During this process, it was not until the last moment that the starship battleship was completely destroyed. The Hyperion ran out of energy, so the Hyperion slowed down. Su Yan on the Hyperion controlled the Hyperion, and rushed towards a star warship at Noli's play area. Boom. Su Yan manipulated the Hyperion, and bombarded the front of the starship. The Hyperion was very fast, and soon came to the front of the starship. Boom! The Hyperion slammed into the starship. The power of the Hyperion was fully demonstrated at this moment, and a cannonball bombarded the starship, causing the starship to be destroyed directly under the attack of the Hyperion. The interstellar warship instantly turned into ashes and dissipated into the universe. Seeing this scene, the interstellar warriors in those interstellar battleships were all stunned. Their eyes widened, and their faces were in disbelief. How can that be? They have hundreds of interstellar warships here, and their number is enough to compete with the Hyperion. Under the attack of the Hyperion, it was destroyed without holding on for even a second. Such a powerful combat power is really shocking. This is terrible, a space marine exclaimed, then turned and ran away. Seeing this scene, the rest of the interstellar warriors were also terrified, and fled away. The Hyperion continued to fire shells towards the next interstellar warship, and the shells landed on the energy shields of those interstellar warships, causing those energy shields to tremble continuously before being destroyed. Soon, another starship was also destroyed by Su Yan. Boom! Another shell hit the starship, turning the starship into ashes once again. After the interstellar battleship was destroyed, the remaining interstellar warships finally realized the power of the Hyperion, so they also gave up their missions and retreated to the distance. Damn it, these interstellar battleships actually evacuated. Su Yan looked annoyed, and then controlled the Hyperion to catch up. Soon, those interstellar battleships were all evacuated. The 380 Hyperion also retreated immediately. During this process, all Star Alliance fleets and interstellar warships were completely destroyed, leaving only the huge energy core. This time, even though the energy shield of the interstellar battleship was destroyed, the energy core was still intact, not destroyed at all. It's so amazing. Su Yan frowned. He controlled the Hyperion and rushed towards the huge energy core, trying to destroy it. To Su Yan's disappointment, the Hyperion was unable to get close to the huge energy core. Damn it, that energy core is so difficult to get close to. My Hyperion is unable to attack that huge energy core. Su Yan was very depressed. If he had a way to attack that huge energy core, he could easily destroy that energy core. He can also use the Hyperion to launch an attack on that energy core, thereby completely destroying that energy core. But the problem is that the current CDCB simply cannot do this. Isn't there a way to attack that energy core? Su Yan frowned. If they can't break the energy core, even if they can destroy those interstellar warships, what's the use? There are too many interstellar warships, they simply cannot kill them. This made Su Yan very aggrieved. If this continues, they will never be able to capture that planet. I don't believe it. I don't believe I can't do it. Su Yan took a deep breath, then controlled the Hyperion, and ran quickly in the starry sky. At this moment, the speed of the Hyperion has reached its limit. Under Su Yan's control, the Hyperion flickered rapidly in the starry sky, like a gust of wind. Su Yan controlled the Hyperion and came to the core of the energy star. The Hyperion launched another attack. This time, he directly bombarded that energy core. Boom. An explosion sounded, forming a terrifying wave in the starry sky, and those waves swept out, causing the surrounding void to twist violently. Under the attack of the Hyperion, the surrounding interstellar warships were instantly destroyed. Some starships were destroyed by Su Yan, but the huge energy core still exists intact. Damn it, this energy core is too powerful. I can't destroy it at all. Su Yan gritted his teeth. He didn't give up. He continued to control the Hyperion, bombarding the energy core crazily. The Hyperion's artillery fire became more and more fierce. Under the crazy bombardment of the Hyperion, that huge energy core also deformed a little bit, and it continued to collapse. Soon, under the crazy attack of the Hyperion, that huge energy core became fragments one by one, scattered around. Seeing this scene, Su Yan breathed a sigh of relief. It's finally done. The energy core has finally been destroyed. Now, I can destroy that super battleship. Su Yan controlled the Hyperion and flew towards the distance. His speed was very fast, and he disappeared into the sky very quickly. And just as his Hyperion disappeared, a roar came from a city in the distance. Bastard. You actually destroyed the star warship that I worked so hard to cultivate. It took our Star Alliance thousands of years to obtain that huge energy core. This damn kid dared to sabotage our plan. This person is one of the members sent by the Star Alliance to explore the galaxy. Under the investigation of this group of people, it was discovered that the number of interstellar warships in the Milky Way is too large. Every interstellar battleship has extremely high defense power, so they plan to enter the galaxy from other directions, and then wait here, waiting for that energy core to appear, so as to snatch that energy core and bring it back to the Star Alliance. Unexpectedly, just when they arrived near the Milky Way, they encountered a catastrophe. Their warships were completely destroyed, and everyone died. Only the broken interstellar warships remained, trapped here. Such a result made them very angry, and their loss was really too big. They lost so many interstellar warships. That is the star warship that the Star Alliance spent hundreds of years to get. If the star warship cannot be captured, then their loss will be even more serious. They must capture the interstellar warship. It's just that now they can't leave the Milky Way at all. They can only stay here and stare blankly. However, they have another way. They communicated with some forces in the galaxy through secret channels. Su Yan didn't know about this matter, but under the control of the Hyperion, he quickly found some strongholds of the Star Alliance. He controlled the Hyperion and rammed directly towards these strongholds, and the artillery fire of the Hyperion crushed all the way, destroying some strongholds. Although the interstellar battleship's defense capabilities were strong, it was quickly destroyed under the crazy bombardment of the Hyperion. Su Yan controlled the Hyperion and slammed into it again, smashing the huge starship into two halves. Boom. A deafening sound sounded, and the Hyperion directly drilled into the interior of the interstellar warship, destroying the interstellar warship. Ha ha ha. Seeing the starship he destroyed, Su Yan laughed excitedly. This energy core was discovered by him first, so this energy core also belongs to him. After the Hyperion got into the starship, Su Yan controlled the Hyperion and shuttled among the wreckage of the starship, looking for the core part of the star warship, and then finding the right place to attack, destroying the core of the star warship. The core part of the starship is very strong, so although Su Yan's attack is very sharp, it still has no effect on the core of the starship. Such a strong energy core can't even penetrate the main gun of the Hyperion. It's really too powerful. Su Yan controlled the Hyperion to rummage through the wreckage of the starship. Although the main gun of the Hyperion can penetrate the energy shield of the starship, such an attack is simply not enough to destroy it, and it cannot cause any damage to the core of the starship. Su Yan also tried many methods, but none of them could crack the shield of the interstellar battleship. This made Su Yan a little depressed and didn't know what to do. When Su Yan was thinking about countermeasures, the Hyperion stopped suddenly, as if he had discovered something. What happened? Su Yan was puzzled. Why did the Hyperion suddenly stop moving forward? When the Hyperion stopped, Su Yan saw a huge hull floating in front of the Hyperion. The hull is made of metal materials, and there is a spherical thing on the hull. This spherical thing is the energy core. In front of the Hyperion, there is a huge metal ball. This metal ball is the core of the star warship. The core of this interstellar warship is so quietly suspended in the void, which looks very strange. Could it be that this thing is also an energy core? The energy concentration of this energy core is twice as strong as the previous one. Su Yan carefully observed the metal ball. When he was observing, he also noticed that the surface of the metal ball shimmered faintly. This thing should be the energy core. The Hyperion has found the energy core of this interstellar warship. So what about the rest of the interstellar warships? Have they also found this energy core? Thinking of this, Su Yan frowned and his face became serious. If, as he guessed, the rest of the interstellar battleships also found the energy core, then they will definitely launch a fierce attack on him, and they may even send experts directly to the galaxy to hunt him down. After all, the energy core is a very precious treasure. It seems that I must return to the Milky Way immediately. If it continues to drag on, I'm afraid it will be dangerous, and those people will definitely not let it go. Thinking of this, Su Yan made a decision, and then took control of the Hyperion and left this place. And the moment he left, the Hyperion had already entered a hollow. After the Hyperion drilled into the hollow, it immediately disappeared. This interstellar battleship is really tough enough. Su Yan shook his head. He also did not expect that under his attack, he would be able to resist the attack of the Hyperion. Although the Hyperion is not the top interstellar warship, its strength definitely far surpasses other warships. Even the highest level warships of interstellar warships may not be able to compete with the Hyperion. In Su Yan's view, even if the starship is the top starship, it is impossible to have the power of the Hyperion. The hole that the Hyperion drilled into happened to be in a black hole. This black hole is very mysterious, and the gravitational force inside is very strong, so the Hyperion will drill into it. The Hyperion flew inside the black hole for a while, and finally came to another star field. This star field is inside a huge meteorite belt, and this interstellar warship flew over from this meteorite belt. When Su Yan saw the meteorite belt, he was surprised. He never thought that the route of the Hyperion would choose to pass through that meteorite belt, because this place is too far away from the Milky Way, and the gravity of the meteorite belt is also very strong. It seems that I have to go to the Milky Way quickly. Our Hyperion needs energy, and the energy of this interstellar warship is very scarce, the kind that can only survive in the universe. So if we are discovered here, it is very likely that we will be snatched away by these people. Su Yan quickly accelerated and flew in the direction of the Milky Way. The Milky Way is the central region of the entire Milky Way. At the edge of the Milky Way, there is a huge galaxy. This star is the Milky Way, and this star is a satellite in the Milky Way. In the central region of the Milky Way, there is a huge Mercury, and in this Mercury, there are many planets of technological civilization, and in the Milky Way, there are many interstellar bandits, and these interstellar bandits are very rampant in the Milky Way. This time, the Milky Way was attacked by an interstellar bandit group. Their goal is very clear, that is to seize the energy in the Milky Way. The energy reserve of the Milky Way is the foundation of everything. If there is no energy source, the energy of the Milky Way will become thinner, and the people of the interstellar bandit group have been raging in the Milky Way for several years, and they have mastered a lot of knowledge about the energy of the Milky Way. This trip to the Milky Way is very dangerous, even close to death. Su Yan is on his way to the Milky Way, and is not wasting time here. Under the control of Su Yan, the Hyperion headed towards the direction of the Milky Way. In just a few days, the Hyperion entered the Milky Way. After the Hyperion entered the range of the Milky Way, Yin Yin immediately felt something was wrong. The engine sound of the battleship is very loud. According to Su Yan's perception, there seemed to be some very tyrannical auras approaching the Hyperion. Su Yan immediately became vigilant. On this strange planet, Su Yan dare not be careless. He also wanted to find out who was hunting him down. On the Hyperion, Su Yan checked the surrounding situation by controlling the instruments. He discovered that there are many monitoring facilities around the Milky Way. When the Hyperion just entered the Milky Way, it was monitored, and the detection instruments monitoring the Hyperion also began to function. The information displayed on these monitoring instruments is all about the Hyperion, including its shape, its heading, and so on. There are many interstellar thieves in this interstellar warship. It seems that my whereabouts have been exposed. Those people, 783, are coming for me. Looking at the information transmitted by those monitoring instruments, Su Yan's face was very solemn. He did not continue to stay on the Hyperion. He took control of the Hyperion, and found a safe place to park nearby. Then, Su Yan turned on the main gun of the Hyperion, aimed the main gun at the monitoring instruments, and then fired at those monitoring instruments. One after another laser rays shot towards those monitoring instruments. Su Yan arranged countless protective shields on the Hyperion. Those detection instruments could not detect Su Yan's existence, but they could not avoid Su Yan's attack. One after another, the laser cannons landed on those detection instruments. The detection instrument was instantly reduced to debris. Su Yan's laser cannon is extremely powerful. Even these detection instruments can hardly withstand the bombardment of the laser cannon, and it is very normal for them to be destroyed. Under the attack of the laser cannon, those detection instruments were reduced to ashes one after another, and the defensive measures on the Hyperion, under the attack of the laser cannon, all of them were ineffective. After all the defensive measures of the Hyperion failed, Su Yan manipulated the Hyperion and quickly fled here. In the process of fleeing, the Hyperion did not stop attacking, and still launched an attack on the surrounding surveillance detectors, destroying them all. The Hyperion's attack power made those detectors feel fear, and stopped tracking one after another. Outside the Milky Way, star warships are chasing after the Hyperion. Interstellar warships are interstellar thieves from all major forces. Outside the Milky Way, there are many interstellar bandits. These interstellar thieves all came from other places. The places outside the Milky Way are some more dangerous places. The interstellar bandits all like to stay in those dangerous places, rather than in the interstellar network. Therefore, their detectors failed, not because the attack power of the Hyperion was too strong, which made those detectors fail. The interstellar thieves all came with the idea of plundering the energy of the galaxy, and then marching into the universe. The energy of the Milky Way is like a treasure mountain in the sea. As long as they can snatch the energy of the Milky Way, their wealth will increase, and the interstellar network of the Milky Way will also completely collapse. Therefore, the interstellar network of the Milky Way is very important. Once the interstellar network of the Milky Way collapses, their funds will be cut off, and their interstellar journey will also be in trouble. Outside the Milky Way, many interstellar bandits gathered. Their target is the Hyperion. The Hyperion is an interstellar warship within the scope of the Milky Way. The interstellar bandits dare not provoke the Hyperion at all. After all, in the Milky Way, no matter which interstellar thieves group is afraid to start a war with an interstellar warship. Inside the Milky Way, there are many interstellar mercenary organizations. Interstellar mercenary organizations are very powerful. Inside the Milky Way, there are also some interstellar mercenary regiments. These interstellar mercenary groups are all composed of some top interstellar mercenary groups in the galaxy. They are powerful and have some powerful weapons. They formed the Interstellar Mercenary Group to hunt and kill interstellar prey. The Hyperion is a member of the Interstellar Mercenary Group, and its value is very high. To them, it is a piece of fat. Among the Hyperion, there are many powerful war fortresses, which are the favorite equipment of the Interstellar Bandit Group. They also know that the Hyperion has a strong defense, and it is not easy to take down the Hyperion. Therefore, the leaders of those interstellar thieves will send a powerful team to attack the Hyperion. On the Hyperion, Su Yan controlled the Hyperion and kept flying towards the distance. The interstellar thieves are chasing after the Hyperion. Although the speed of the Hyperion is fast, it is still much slower in front of these interstellar thieves, and they are getting closer and closer to the Hyperion. On board the Hyperion, everyone was very worried. They didn't know if the Hyperion could last until the moment they fled. Although the combat power in the Hyperion is very strong, it is still much weaker in front of these interstellar bandits. The people on the Hyperion also know this. The people on the Hyperion are very worried about the Hyperion. However, Su Yan didn't panic at all. He was manipulating the Hyperion, flying non-stop. That spaceship is on the edge of the Milky Way, which is the region on the edge of the Milky Way, and the starships are not willing to go close to it. A spaceship is not a starship. At the edge of the galaxy, a starship is there. The technology in the Star Warships is very powerful. Compared with the general Star Wars 4.3, the science and technology of the spaceships are many times stronger, and they can easily kill those Star Wars ships. Star Warships are very afraid of that spaceship. Although the spaceship does not have the level of a battleship, in this region of the galaxy, no one dares to provoke that spaceship. These interstellar battleships will only shrink back in front of the Hyperion, and dare not provoke them. The Hyperion did not encounter any obstacles. Su Yan constantly controls the Hyperion. In his mind, he kept thinking about countermeasures. If the Hyperion really lost to those interstellar thieves, then he would immediately launch that spaceship and escape from the galaxy. As long as he leaves the galaxy with the Hyperion, those interstellar thieves will not dare to chase him down. Under Su Yan's command, the Hyperion began to accelerate and flew forward. Not long after, the Hyperion moved a distance away from the interstellar thieves chasing after it, making it impossible for those interstellar thieves to catch up. The leader of the interstellar thieves has been chasing the Hyperion. They continue to use various means to attack the Hyperion, trying to kill the Hyperion. Under the order of the leader of the interstellar bandit group, countless interstellar warships launched a crazy attack on the Hyperion. Under those attacks, the Hyperion kept swaying from side to side, as if it might be damaged by some attacks at any time. Su-Yan was also very nervous. He didn't know what to do. The artillery shells of those interstellar warships were very dense, and he couldn't intercept all of them. Among those shells, there are still nuclear bombs hidden. If those nuclear bombs go off, then the Hyperion will definitely suffer. In that situation, Yin didn't know how he should deal with the situation. His eyes, fixed on those shells. Accelerate. 23. Su-Yan gave the order. The Hyperion immediately accelerated. Behind the Hyperion, the shells of those interstellar thieves attacked the Hyperion one after another, constantly bombarding the Hyperion's body. The Hyperion kept slowing down to avoid those shells. Those interstellar thieves are still attacking frantically, constantly launching attacks on the Hyperion, trying to sink the Hyperion. Several images suddenly appeared in Su-Yan's mind. It was a memory of Star Wars, those Star Wars ships, in many shapes. Some of them are in the form of flying saucers, some are in the form of spaceships, and there are also various types of spaceships. Under his command, the Hyperion is constantly changing. While changing the shape, he kept avoiding the attack of the star warship, but Su-Yan's face became more and more ugly. The speed of the Hyperion became faster, and very soon, the Hyperion became very violent from its original stable state. In this state, the speed of the Hyperion has been fully raised to the highest level, not only fast, but also very flexible. Under such circumstances, even if those interstellar warships hunt down the Hyperion, there is no way to force the Hyperion to stop. However, at that speed, the Hyperion's power system was also severely damaged, and these are very serious problems. If these problems are not repaired as soon as possible, I am afraid that the Hyperion will malfunction soon, and may lose its power system at a certain moment in the near future, and fall into the Milky Way. Accelerate to the limit. Under such an order, the Hyperion continued to increase its own speed, making his speed continuously increase. Although those interstellar battleships were unwilling to give up, they had no choice but to follow the Hyperion to increase their speed. The Hyperion finally broke away from the encirclement of those interstellar warships and rushed outward. When those interstellar warships saw the Hyperion fleeing, they didn't dare to continue chasing the Hyperion. After all, they all know very well that the Hyperion is definitely not an ordinary interstellar warship. If they can't capture the Hyperion, I'm afraid they won't be able to capture the Hyperion in this lifetime. The speed of the Hyperion was very fast, and its back disappeared into the vast universe. Those interstellar warships left unwillingly and continued to chase and kill the Hyperion. However, this time the interstellar battleship did not continue to attack the Hyperion, because the main gun of the Hyperion continuously ejected light of various colors, attacking those interstellar warships, causing those interstellar warships to retreat continuously. After leaving the Milky Way, the Hyperion immediately accelerated, and then sailed towards the other side of the Milky Way. The Hyperion's power system was severely damaged, and if it continued to accelerate, it would probably be destroyed by the starship, so Su-Yan had to slow down. However, Su-Yan does not intend to just give up the Hyperion. He also needs the Hyperion. He needs the help of the Hyperion to deal with those interstellar warships. In his opinion, the interstellar battleship is his only reliance now. The spaceship of the Hyperion is very fast, and ordinary interstellar spaceships can't catch up with them at all. Behind the Hyperion, those interstellar spaceships are constantly chasing after them, but their speed is very fast, and they continue to release star shells one by one to bombard the Hyperion. However, although these stellar shells are very powerful, they do not have much effect on the defense of the Hyperion. Under such an attack, the Hyperion kept flying at an ultra-low speed. Although the attacks of those interstellar spaceships continuously bombarded the Hyperion, they couldn't hurt the Hyperion at all. After those interstellar battleships had no way to destroy the Hyperion, they began to remodel again, preparing to destroy the Hyperion. The Hyperion is constantly reducing its speed. The speed of the Hyperion is already very fast, but the speed of those interstellar warships, 570, is still too far behind the speed of the Hyperion. Under such circumstances, the Hyperion finally got rid of those interstellar warships and continued to soar in the Milky Way. In the Milky Way, there are a large number of planets. Star warships are constantly flying around those stars. At the speed of the Hyperion, shuttles between those interstellar battleships, planets are constantly smashed by it, and stars are also smashed by it. Those interstellar battleships were constantly firing various artillery fires in the air, attacking the Hyperion. The artillery fire of those interstellar warships is very powerful, but the defense of the Hyperion is also very amazing. Under such circumstances, it has not suffered any losses. Su Yan saw those interstellar warships attacking the Hyperion. His eyes flickered with a cold chill. Speed me up. The speed of the Hyperion increased again, and it continued to sprint towards those interstellar warships. These interstellar warships are constantly improving, and then intercept the Hyperion. This interception method is very old-fashioned. They didn't seem worried that the Hyperion was able to escape, because in their view, under their interception, the Hyperion has no chance of escaping at all, only the result of being completely destroyed or directly destroyed. They didn't know the true performance of the Hyperion, so they didn't dare to attack the Hyperion rashly. Under such circumstances, the speed of the Hyperion increased once again, constantly shuttling through the air, interspersing among those interstellar warships. The Hyperion once again escaped the interception of those interstellar warships. Under such circumstances, the speed of the Hyperion has already surpassed the limit of spaceships, even faster than the limit speed of ordinary interstellar warships. Those interstellar battleships couldn't stop the Hyperion at all, so they could only chase after it. In Su Yan's eyes, there was an angry light. If the target of those interstellar warships was Su Yan, the Hyperion would have been destroyed by those interstellar warships long ago. Among those interstellar warships, one after another interstellar warships kept chasing after them. The pilot of the interstellar warship is also constantly urging the interstellar warship, "Hurry up! If you hurry up, the Hyperion can be killed. Hurry up, otherwise, when the Hyperion leaves our attack range, you will not be able to track him if you want to pursue it. Hurry up! Hurry up, don't dawdle. If you dawdle any longer, you don't know where the Hyperion will fly. Hurry up." Hearing their urging voices, the pilots of the interstellar battleship immediately accelerated. Hurry up and we'll catch up. We must completely wipe out the Hyperion in the shortest possible time. This time, I will not let the Hyperion have any chance of escape. The distance between them has been pulled to the point of millions of kilometers, which has almost surpassed the limit of the universe, reached the limit of stars, and even surpassed the limit of galaxy-class spaceships. This is only a short distance, and there is still a long way to go. Such a distance also allowed the Hyperion's defense to reach its strongest state. The Hyperion, under the interception of those interstellar warships, kept moving forward, constantly avoiding the interception of those interstellar warships. Under such circumstances, the Hyperion, in the eyes of those interstellar warships, has become a giant. Behind the Hyperion, those interstellar warships attacked frantically. Under the frantic bombardment of those interstellar warships, one after another stars were directly destroyed. The Hyperion is under attack from these starships remains unchanged. Not long after, those interstellar warships discovered something that shocked them extremely. Under the pursuit of the interstellar warships, the speed of the Hyperion has actually increased a lot. Not only did they not stop the Hyperion, but they also made the Hyperion faster and faster. Those missiles of theirs, there is simply no way to hit the Hyperion. At this time, the leading captains of those interstellar warships, a decision was made immediately stop the attack on the Hyperion. No more pursuit. Let's go back first. Good. The pilots of the other interstellar warships agreed one after another. The Hyperion was going too fast. With the Hyperion's defense ability, under their attack, they couldn't harm the Hyperion at all, and instead strengthen the Hyperion's defense a lot. Under such circumstances, those interstellar warships stopped chasing and returned directly. And in the main control room of those interstellar warships, all the chief controllers of the interstellar warships were all fidgeting, looking at the picture in front of them in horror. On those monitoring screens, they saw a huge interstellar warship constantly flying towards them. The huge interstellar battleship gave them the feeling that it was like a huge mountain, oppressing their hearts. Seeing this scene, all the chief controllers of the interstellar warships were horrified. They thought in their hearts, what is going on here? What kind of ship did we offend? Why is this thing so fast? What is it? What is it? The prosecutors asked in their hearts. They have never encountered such a situation. The chief controllers of those interstellar warships all looked at their leader. Their leader is watching all this too. The leader didn't know what this huge interstellar warship was. He only knows that this is an interstellar spaceship, and it is also an extremely powerful warship. I seem to have seen this battleship somewhere. The leader frowned and thought. Suddenly, something seemed to flash in his mind. He finally remembered that he had seen this scene before. It was a huge battleship. After such thoughts flashed through his mind, he immediately took out a photo and observed it carefully. It's him. Could it be that he is the owner of that battleship? He said in surprise. He remembered the battleship. At that time they lost a lot. It was almost wiped out by that battleship. Of course, it was only a little bit close. In our main control room, everyone stared at the scene with horrified eyes. It was the projection of a giant warship, and on top of this projection was the projection of the Hyperion. At this moment, they could clearly see the whole picture of the huge interstellar warship. The Hyperion is actually several times larger than those interstellar warships, almost occupying most of the entire planet. It looks like a huge interstellar warship. Being in the starry sky gives them a sense of oppression, which is really too strong. In front of that battleship, their interstellar battleships were as small as ants. When the chief prosecutor saw Huber, Zhao, Leon, he was also terrified. I dare not continue to track the Hyperion. The universe is very far away from here. Although their technological level is very powerful in this universe, but it is still not an easy task to get here. The speed of the Hyperion is hundreds of times faster than the speed of their star warships. Under such circumstances, in this universe, besides the Hyperion, who else has such a fast speed? When the chief prosecutor saw the Hyperion, he was full of doubts. Their leader, at this moment, had already seen the Hyperion clearly. There was a hint of fear in his eyes, above the giant projection. That battleship was constantly approaching them, and they didn't know what was going on in such a situation. They looked at the Hyperion and kept getting closer. Then I saw their leader with a terrified look on his face. Their faces were full of intense horror. Where are they? Tell me quickly. Where are they? The leader hurriedly shouted at the chief controller of their starship. They are on the Hyperion. They are now approaching us. What should we do? What should we do? The chief prosecutor said in panic. Don't give up. Don't give up. The leader hastily said, the Hyperion is only 30 million kilometers away from us. We must persevere. We must intercept the Hyperion. Once the Hyperion is chased by them, come on, our interstellar warships will be destroyed by them. The leader hastily ordered the chief controllers of the interstellar battleships to speed up. The Hyperion is constantly approaching them. These interstellar warships simply have nowhere to escape. Unless their main guns fired, it was impossible for the Hyperion to evade their attacks. The speed of the Hyperion is obviously dozens of times faster than theirs. Their main guns can't penetrate the surface shield of the Hyperion 343 at all, let alone break the energy shield on the Hyperion. The Hyperion is like a machine that never gets tired. No matter how hard they tried, the speed of the Hyperion did not decrease, and the energy shield on the Hyperion was still extremely strong. The energy shield on the Hyperion, like a steel wall, blocked these interstellar warships from the outside. The chief controllers of the interstellar warships simply couldn't stop the approach of the Hyperion. At this time, their faces turned pale, and they all felt scared. They didn't dare to imagine what would happen to their starship's defense system if the Hyperion crashed into their starship. At that time, their interstellar warships will definitely be turned into a pile of waste. Chief, the Hyperion is almost approaching us, the chief prosecutor said with a pale face. Now we are getting closer. We must react. Otherwise, our starships will be in danger. What are you waiting for? Are you still waiting for the Hyperion to catch up and completely destroy our interstellar battleship? Intercept it. Destroy him, the leader growled. After hearing the roar of the leader, the controllers of those interstellar warships just woke up like a dream. They quickly manipulated their interstellar battleships to activate the energy shields, activate the energy ray weapons, and fire energy cannons and energy shells at the Hyperion. The defense system of the Hyperion was also attacked, and the energy ray weapon hit the energy shield of the Hyperion. Immediately, the energy ray weapon was bounced back. The energy shells also left many traces on the surface of the Hyperion. The Hyperion, is it so powerful? What the hell are they? They couldn't even break through their protective shields. The power of the main guns of the interstellar warships cannot penetrate their protective shields at all. How can we smash their energy shields? The chief controllers of the interstellar battleship couldn't help talking about the scene in front of them. They all couldn't understand why the Hyperion could penetrate the defense system and energy shield of their starship so easily, and even their main guns couldn't penetrate the Hyperion's energy shield and energy rays arms. None of them understood what the Hyperion was. No, the Hyperion is too powerful. The main guns and energy rays of our star warship can't hurt it at all. Neither our main CDBG cannon nor energy rays can do anything to the Hyperion. Could it be? Is the Hyperion a super spaceship? At this time, another person asked. Impossible. Super spaceships have long been destroyed by our interstellar civilization. Yeah, super spaceships. It has long been destroyed by our interstellar civilization. It is impossible to still exist. What the hell is the Hyperion? The chief controllers of the many interstellar warships were all talking about it, and each of them was a little confused. The leader's face was also very ugly. The Hyperion is really too powerful. He is not sure that he can block the Hyperion. Quick, launch missiles and energy shells immediately. Smash their energy shields. The leader shouted hastily. Yes. These chief prosecutors quickly agreed. The energy shells and energy rays of their interstellar warships are all ready. Whoosh! Several missiles flew directly towards the Hyperion. However, These missiles are not worth mentioning in front of the Hyperion, and they can't hurt the Hyperion at all. The defense system of the Hyperion is too good, right? Their defense system is simply invincible, and our energy shells are of no use to him at all. The chief controllers of these interstellar warships all exclaimed when they saw this scene. At this time, they finally understood why the interstellar battleship failed this time. They couldn't help feeling a sense of despair in their hearts. Terrible, they have no way to resist the Hyperion. Su Yan looked at the missiles and energy shells launched by the starship warship towards the Hyperion. The corners of his mouth slightly curled up, revealing a sneer of disdain. Small tricks. The defensive energy shield and energy ray weapons of the Hyperion can block it. Do you think these missiles and energy shells can defeat him? The energy shield of the Hyperion can block all energy and laser cannonballs. Su Yan sneered and said lightly. He knew that his energy shield was not invincible, but he can rely on this energy shield to resist other powerful weapon attacks. Even if these missiles and energy shells hit his energy shield, they couldn't break through the defense of the energy shield, let alone kill him. Missiles and energy shells are like shells in front of the Hyperion, sliding past the Hyperion, but couldn't hit the Hyperion at all. In front of the Hyperion, they can only be consumed.
Thank you for watching Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share and subscribe. Have a great day.